Hello everyone, welcome to Liam's Lyceum. I'm your host Liam, aka Himvar. Today I'm doing my weekly update. This would be for, let's see, I don't even know the date, the 10th of September. I didn't do one last week actually. I think this is episode 9. Maybe, of Liam's Leapings. So, I just want to go really quickly over the stuff I've read and books I've gotten over the past 2 weeks since I didn't do one last week. This should be rather short, I think. Some of these things were mentioned because I did do my summer wrap-up already as well. So the first book I finished actually was The War God's Own by David Weber. This was the last book I finished in August actually. And this was really, really good. I really enjoyed it, honestly. I don't talk a lot about star ratings. I do use star ratings on Goodreads because I do use Goodreads, and but I only use the star ratings for exactly what they are. But again, I think it's like 2 stars, like it's okay, and like 3 is I liked it, and like so forth, basically. So 3s are good, right? And I do a lot of 3-star reviews, but this was a 5-star review actually. So I really enjoyed this one. It is very cozy, kind of D&D-ish setting. I read the first book, The Oath of Swords, or Oath of Swords, I think it's just called, last year. So pretty stinking good. I liked it a lot. Then I went and I read Martha Wells' Wheel of the Infinite. This is the first book I read by Martha Wells. This is the buddy read for September, actually. And I actually started this one on September the 1st, which is Wells' birthday. I did actually generally just listen to this one almost entirely, actually. Which, it was a pretty interesting story. It was actually a different atmosphere. It's always weird to me because I can't tell what I would think of it if I had read it, like physically. Because sometimes if a book is boring, it's harder to tell basically if I'm listening to it. And that kind of has to do with one of the other books I've read that's not here right now, but I'll get to that in a second. Okay, and then I also finished Paladin of Souls by Lois McMaster Bujold. This is the second book by Bujold I've read. This is the sequel of sorts to The Cursed Chalion. I like The Cursed Chalion more, actually, but I mean, this was still good. What's not to like? The Cursed Chalion was just awesome, though. So it's kind of like, could like David Gemmell wind up a legend, and maybe Gemmell will at some point, but since reading The King Beyond the Gate and Waylander, I don't think he has so far, right? And so Cursed Chalion was super good. It was my number 10 spot, actually, for best books of 2021. So there are more books after this, but I think they might all be short stories and novellas. I have a copy somewhere, but I don't remember where. So that's the finished stuff. Let's see. Oh yeah, I did finish also The Story of the Glittering Plain by William Morris. I have a copy. It's an antique, so I don't have it out. I didn't want to get it out right now. It is over 100 years old. Actually, that's my only first edition I think I have of antique books. So really good. I actually enjoyed this one a lot. I enjoyed it more than Roots of the Mountains, which is the second book by William Morris I've read of his prose romances. I didn't enjoy it as much as The House of the Wolfings. This one is more fantasy than the first two. The first two are more historical fiction. I'll talk about more about that when I do a review. That'll come out in forever, but you know. So yeah, but I did really enjoy the story of the Glittering Plain, and you can definitely see some similarities. I don't know, not a ton, but some similarities between the Glittering Plain, which is also called the Acre of the Undying, with, say, the Undying Lands, or Valinor in Tolkien's mythos. Okay, and then what else did I read? I read The Forge of Virtue by Lynn Abbey. I've been reading this one for a couple weeks. This is my current read with my brother. It's the Ultima novel. I haven't finished it. I actually barely read any this past week. I read a decent amount the week before, but my brother is still on like chapter 2. And so I'm just kind of holding off there for a minute, or rather, since I'm reading other things, I'm not super motivated to continue. I probably will try to finish it this week since I have 100 pages left, and it's actually a few pages shy of 100 pages left, so I think I could finish this one really easily. I am enjoying it, but I feel like I should finish it before I maybe potentially lose motivation, right? And then I also started reading The Time of the Twins by Margaret Weiss and Tracy Hickman. This is the first in the Dragonlance Legends trilogy. This one focuses on Raceland and Caramon Majir, our twin brothers from the Dragonlance Chronicles, which I reviewed all three of those about a year ago. And I was a little critical of that series, but I am enjoying this one a lot more so far. But that being said, I enjoyed the first of the Dragonlance Chronicles decently well, and it was only the second one was okay, and I didn't really like the third one. I didn't like a lot of the parts of the third one. The third one wasn't terrible, but this one is starting out pretty well, I would say. So I'm actually a little further than this, I think. Yeah, so I'm about 150 pages in, though. Yes. Sorry, I've been reading most of it on my Kindle app. So, yeah, so Time of the Twins. And then two other books I've read. I have this red one here, but that's nonfiction, so I'll get to that one last. I also started reading Babel, or Babel, as I like to say, but it's called, I'm actually mostly listening. I'm listening to the audiobook on that one. I think I'll have a lot to say as far as when that review comes out, though I don't know when I will record that review. And so, because it's interesting, I actually did the audiobook because I decided that there'd be a good chance of me taking forever or either not finishing with the physical book. Now, I did order a physical book that should actually get here tomorrow, the day this video goes up, but I don't know, there's just something that was like really iffy about Kuang. Like, for example, I haven't read The Poppy War. That doesn't sound like it interests me at all. I think I'd actually dislike it, so why would I read it? I generally have a pretty good idea of what I would like and dislike. That could always change in a few years, and that's happened before, right? So in a few years, maybe I'll decide I like it, but I don't think I would. I also kind of got that feeling about Babel, or Babel, whatever. And so far, it's kind of a mixed bag. I liked the idea of the setting and the focus on language. That really intrigued me. If you watch some of my videos, you may know why. I don't really want to go into it right now, but and then I watched Joanna's review though, and I asked if like philology was mentioned, and she said yes. They don't explain she doesn't explain what a philologist is, but they mentioned philology, which is nice. It's kind of lame actually in some sense, because I realize it's magical realism in sense, but alternate history as well, because it's not, there's magic, obviously. So the world is not exactly the same, and the fact that philology is not the big thing that it is here, it's basically been replaced, actually. Philology has been replaced by the Babblers, basically, the people who are students at Babel and work at Babel. And that focuses more on etymology and like translation and like cognates and other things, which is all stuff similar to philology, but they're not, the students aren't philologists because whatever reason. They basically are, but they're not for whatever reason. So, yeah, anyways, it's interesting to me because they like, I don't remember if the word linguistics was not really a field in the 19th century, as far as I'm aware of it. The linguistics came about mostly in the early 20th century, and philology was like, if you wanted to do linguistics, you were doing philology in the 19th century, and it takes place in the 19th century. So whatever, they have mentioned several philologists by name, important ones too. So I'll talk about that in my review. And she does, I like the lecture parts, kind of. I don't think they're necessary, but I mean, I kind of like reading them. I think I'd rather read a nonfiction book about it, which is kind of what this book is. She actually gets one thing wrong in Babel, so I will tell you about that in the review. One thing as far as cognates go. Anyways, but now I feel like I'm calling out a famous author who has way more education than me, and I feel like I'm probably an idiot, but I'm pretty sure I'm right and she's wrong, so whatever. Anyways, so I'm reading The Word Horde. I took off the dust jacket by Hannah Vadine. I think that's how you say it. I think she's Canadian. I'm not really sure. But this is a really easy to access Old English book, basically. It's not written in Old English. It came out last year, actually, I think. But it's interesting because I know a lot of people have some probably basic interest in things like Old English, which is also called Anglo-Saxon. But you're not going to pick up a grammar or a primer and be like, crack that book open and be like, wow, this is extremely entertaining. I showcased it to my wife actually the other day by reading the first paragraph in this book and also reading the first paragraph in Joseph Wright's Old English grammar. And I was like, wow, okay, that's not, that's like, there's a way big of a difference, right? You know what I mean? Like, most people would probably put down, they wouldn't get through the first paragraph in Wright's thing, in my opinion, most people. This is actually pretty entertaining because it's mostly exploring, it is Old English stuff, but it's exploring interesting concepts through words, which is cool. I like that. And it's exploring history in a lot of senses. There is one part I actually just read where I kind of disagree with her on. It's so weird to read something, again, kind of like with Babel, that I disagree with it on as far as academic stuff goes, because then I feel like I'm a pretender because I'm not an academic. And then I feel like I'm not actually knowing what I'm talking about. It's the way she interprets the word dream. I won't go into it because you don't care. But I kind of disagree with her on that. But for the most part, this is actually pretty cool. And I like it. And I think if you're interested maybe in some Old English, whether you're a native speaker of English or not, whatever your reasons are in being interested in it, this is easily accessible, I feel like, as far as like, it's not for experts or even for people who want to be experts, because I'm not an expert. So I like it. I'm enjoying it. I am about a third of the way through or so. I will hopefully finish this week so I can continue reading more nonfiction as well. And then on to the books I got. This is going in like opposite order because I stacked them. That way, I'll put the first book down. It's on the bottom of the stack now. I got Dawn of Wonder today. It's book 1 of the Awakening. It's by Jonathan Renshaw. So I actually just got this one by the way. I won a giveaway from an Erudite Adventurer, so I didn't tell him. I'll probably tell him. You might see it in this video, but just got it. It's a big freaking book. I didn't realize it was so big. I remember actually being interested in it when it first came out, whenever that was, and then, that was a few years ago. And then an Erudite Adventurer did a buddy read for it. I didn't join because I didn't have a copy, but I've heard really good things from everyone who was part of that buddy read. And so now I'm glad I have a copy. I don't think the second book is out, so, but I feel like big, hefty books, it looks like it's probably self-published, considering there's no publisher on the spine. It's not actually super huge, it's about 700 pages. I guess that's pretty large. So I'm looking forward to that. I also got the sequels to Time of the Twins, which is The War of the Twins and The Test of the Twins. Test of the Twins is actually about 100 pages smaller than books 2 and 1. We'll see how that goes. I also got this one, actually, I got this the day I left for Utah. If you remember my weekly update from 2 weeks ago, I actually went to Utah. I forgot that I had this. I got it literally right before I got in the car to leave. I just checked my mail real quick. Now, this is from the University of Reading. I've read it already, so I could put it on the other pile, but it credits Matt Bunker and Gabor Thomas here. I think that's how you say his name, Gabor or Gaber. I don't know how to say that name. It's the Marlow Warlord, an early medieval sentinel burial of the Middle Thames. I supported, it's kind of like a Kickstarter, but it was run by the University of Reading a couple of years ago, 2020, shortly after the pandemic started. There is a dig found near Marlow on the River Thames, obviously, in England, and it seemed to be of a early Anglo-Saxon warlord burial. Obviously, if you read the title, it sneaking tells it basically all right there. It's some pretty cool stuff, pretty cool research in here. I liked it. I dig it. My support got me this copy. There was about 100 made, I think. I think they went on sale too, but I think you have to be on their Facebook page to get it, and you're not even on the Facebook page unless you supported it. So maybe if you supported at a lower tier, you could go and get one. I don't really know. It was pretty interesting. I don't read a lot on archaeology, but little bite-sized things like that are perfect. It's basically an article just in like a little pamphlet form. And then another book I got was the Vinland Sagas. There's 2 sagas in here. This is Penguin Classics version. I think it was David Wiley who said he wanted to do a buddy read of this. It's like 50 pages for the actual sagas. I mean, there's a bunch of other stuff in here that's good. So let's see. The Saga of the Greenlanders is like 20 pages. And then Eric the Red Saga is not a lot. Is 30 pages. Yeah, so it's 50 pages. I'm going to try to read this one after I finish The Word Horde. And then I'll probably go into some Chaucer or something after that, but we shall see. That shouldn't take that long at all. And then I got another copy actually, of Gurzel by I Anonymous. Book One of the World of Wrath. I talked about Gurzel enough. This is a cool hardback that the author sent me. It has a quote from me on it, which is cool. I'm on the very bottom, actually, of the back page. So that is the first time that's ever happened. Hopefully not the last, but it might be. So we shall see. And then I also got The Wooden Sword. I mentioned this one a couple weeks ago because I knew it was in the mail, but I hadn't gotten home yet. And this is the first book in a duology. What was the second book called? It's something like the Something Web. I don't remember. That was the book I had, if you watched it update a couple weeks ago, that was signed by Abby and the author, which was Donato Giancola. So I am looking forward to this one. I've heard really good things. It's not very long at all, actually. It's 250 pages, so I like Abby. So I will read this at some point. Sora. Anyways, so that's basically the update. I did write a little bit, not a ton. I had a couple ideas for a few more stories. I started an internship, actually, a couple days, so we'll see how that goes. I'm busy as heck right now. I work in a couple jobs, so... And I'm really tired because I keep on getting up early for one of those jobs. So anyways, that is my week. What have y'all read recently? Plan on reading. Had some fun videos come out last week. Have more, hopefully that'll be fun the next week. Maybe they'll slow down a little bit with how busy I am, but as of right now, that is not the case. So this has been Liam, Liam's Lyceum, and I'll catch you next time.